guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you through a typical lesson in my 7th grade science classroom. So don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you want to see more videos like this or what kind of lessons you want to see. So today I'm just going to show you a typical lesson in my classroom and kind of how I go about all the things. So first thing I do is when students walk in the classroom, I always have a slide ready to go for them, and it has a science starter on it. So this science starter is a question to get students thinking about science or the topic that we're covering, or maybe a past topic that we've covered. And they fill out a piece of paper that looks like this, and it lasts for 2 weeks. So they answer their science starter on whatever day it is. So today's Thursday, so they would answer Thursday on their science starter, and then they always end with an exit ticket that is something usually similar or a question of something that they should have learned throughout the lesson. So this is the slide that I had up today. And for our evidence, which we call our evidences our tests, students will need to look at a picture of a solar system and describe something that is accurate and inaccurate about the picture. So like talking about the size, like so for this one, the Jupiter appears to be bigger than the sun, which is not accurate. Our sun is the biggest thing in our solar system. So this picture is inaccurate for lots of reasons, but one of them they could have said is because Jupiter is bigger than the sun, and we know that Jupiter is not bigger than the sun. So that was their question to kind of get them thinking, also to kind of practice things for their test. Sometimes I put questions that are going to be similar to what's on their test so that they can start thinking about those things. And then over here I have our jolt of the day, which if you don't know what jolt is, I'd highly recommend looking it up. It is a Chrome extension that is free, and it has 30-second to 3-minute little science-y news videos, lots of different kinds of videos. Today it was like a technology video, and this is about a robot dog that helps clean up beaches. And so I play that, and then we just kind of talk about it. A lot of times it's like new technology, so then students can get exposed to different kinds of technology, but it kind of fits in with our science, and we gives us something to kind of start the class and talk about. Today's learning target for students was they needed to understand how far away our planets are from each other and just how big our solar system is. So I wanted students to just understand how far away planets are from each other and how far they are away from the sun. So I kind of talked about, like today, I really want you to focus on how far away things are in our solar system. So obviously our solar system is something that is really hard to comprehend how far things are from each other because we can't see it with our own eye. It's just so big. And so today we're going to look at a model, a scale model, and I talk about how a scale model is a scale model. It's obviously actually not, it's way bigger than what this is going to be, but this is supposed to help us comprehend how far away things are. And so I found this amazing video, and the guy who actually made this video used to work for NASA, so that's pretty cool. I will link this in my caption for you guys, but it's fabulous, and it really shows students how far things are away from each other, and it uses football fields and neighborhoods, so it's something that the students can kind of comprehend, because obviously this is a big topic that is really, really hard to comprehend. So I played this video for students. This video is a little bit longer. It is about 8 minutes, but it does a really, really nice job of showing students how far away things are. So then after this video is over, I ask them, I'm like, okay, so what did you guys notice was the difference in the distance between our inner planets, which are our first 4 planets, and our outer planets, which is our last 4 planets? And hopefully they notice that, and all of my class periods did notice that today, that the inner planets are much closer together, and then once we get to our outer planets, they get so far away from each other. So our inner planets are closer, and our outer planets are way further apart. Obviously, they're super far apart in general, but our inner planets are closer together than our outer planets. Videos are good for science just because it really helps students visualize things. And so this next part is a more hands-on part of the lesson, and I found this on Better Lesson. I will also link that lesson down below. My co-teacher shared it with me, and it was great. So for this lesson, students are actually making their own scale diagram of the solar system. So the first thing I had students do with this paper is they needed to label the sun on one end. So they made a little half circle on this end, labeled it sun. And then on this end, they drew a little dot and labeled that Pluto. So here is a closer look at the sun on that end, Pluto on that end. And then what I did is I gave students about 8 minutes and they needed to place the 8 planets in between the sun and Pluto. And I said, yes, I know Pluto is technically not a planet anymore, but we're gonna use it in our scale model for today. And so I offered rulers, and they just needed, and that's really all the information I gave them. They have the data tables that show how far everything is away from the sun and each other in AUs. So they used their data table to figure out how far away things were, and then they tried to place it on here as accurately as possible. Obviously, a lot of students are not gonna have this accurate, and that's okay. It's okay for them to not be correct on this accurate scale model. It is just supposed to be something for them to visualize. Many students were incorrect, and that is okay. I did have quite a few students that were actually correct on this, which is so cool. So gave them 8 minutes, and I kind of walked around, and I was like, oh, yours looks good. Oh, yours look good. Oh, I think those planets need to be closer together, or let's fix these planets, to kind of give them hints so that they kind of kept working and fixing. And then encouraging them, because this can be something that's hard. So walk around, interact with your students, give them tips on how their scale model is going. Once the time is up, I said, okay, you need to grab a different color, so we're gonna check your answers so that you can see where they're actually located if this was our scale model of the solar system. So they have their sun and their Pluto. So first step was to fold it in half. So they folded it in half like this, and the planet in the middle is labeled Uranus. So then they all labeled Uranus in the middle. So now they have the sun, Uranus, and Pluto. Next step was to fold the sun into Uranus like this, make a crease, unfold it. This planet here is Saturn. So they have the sun, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto. Next step is to fold Pluto into Uranus. And this crease is labeled Neptune. So they have the sun, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Next step is to fold the sun into Saturn, like so. Crease it. This crease is labeled Jupiter. All right. Then they take the sun, fold it into Jupiter, make a crease, and this planet is labeled Mars. Then they take the sun, they fold it into Mars. This is the last fold, and this is labeled Venus. Then halfway between the sun and Venus is going to be Mercury, and about halfway between Venus and Mars is going to be Earth. So it kind of looks like this. Obviously, this is a very small scale model. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but it is supposed to show students that the inner planets are super close together here, whereas as you get to the outer planets, they get further and further apart from each other. Here's a closer look at the model, but it's supposed to show students that the inner planets are pretty close together compared to those outer planets there. So they went through the answers, they looked at their models. I was like, okay, so who thought that who was close to being accurate? Did anyone get one planet completely accurate? And we kind of talked about it. And I showed them this picture to kind of show, you know, the inner planets. Then the last thing I did to close out this lesson is my students do really enjoy Bill Nye, and Bill Nye does have a lot of really good information, and he has a video that shows the distance between the planets using like kilometers and meters, and he rides his bike, and he has an accurate scale model that he's created. And so I ended the class with showing this video to kind of finish up the lesson, and just to show, okay, things are really, really, really far apart in space. And he says it in the video, there's a lot of space in space. So that is what I wanted them to understand, and I wanted them to understand that the inner planets are closer together than the outer planets. And then I always end with an exit ticket, and this exit ticket was one thing that they learned from Bill Nye, and I also let them do what is one thing you learned from this in general, and hopefully they learned that there is a lot of space in space, or that our inner planets are closer together than our outer planets. But yeah, and that's kind of it. So that's like a quick run through of what like a typical lesson, or today's lesson I guess, looked like in my classroom. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed that video, and I hope that if you are a teacher, a science teacher, a middle school teacher, that kind of helped you understand what a typical lesson in my classroom looks like. I like to do videos, I like to do hands-on activities, I like to get them talking and discussing with others, and so I try to do a little bit of that in every single lesson that I have in my classroom. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope this helped you out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.